Guys, you don't survive the dark night of the soul by fighting the dark. You transcend it by becoming the light, by loving the unloved places in you until all that's left is union and oneness with God. Okay, what's going on, guys? In today's video, I wanted to help you traverse the dark night of the soul effectively in the best way possible so that you end up taking the most benefit and most fruit through the journey. The dark night of the soul is one of the most tumultuous, painful, misunderstood parts of the spiritual journey of maturing and growing in Christ, of embodying our true self. So I wanted to dive in this and extrapolate upon this a little bit deeper. Okay? So let's dive in. So we must learn how to love every part of ourselves, okay? Every pattern, every egoic program, every false belief system, every identity that's rooted in the level of form of what you do, who you are, all your attachments, all of these things need to be loved until they're integrated into Christ, into your true self. It's kind of like, you can think of it as like a sponge. Like imagine your entire life is just a mess of like different things, and it's all like you've got your your relationships over here, you've got your health over here, you've got your business and your ministry, and everything's separate, and it's like it's all different piles of liquid. The dark night of the soul is like a sponge going up and sucking all of those things up and integrating them into yourself until you're one with all of them, and you don't have different facets of separation consciousness in your life anymore, because you're just a integrated divine being. Okay, so how do we traverse this process very well? Because it can be very painful when one part of us, if I'm a business owner, is being challenged by you losing your entire business, or I'm, married and in a family and you're going through a divorce, or you lose a loved one. Okay, so all of these things need to be looked upon in a very, very profound way. It's a very profound sacred process, an initiation process, as I said in the first one. But so how can we traverse this gracefully, so we're not through the suffering and not living in the suffering and prolonging the dark night of the soul like I did? I prolonged it like another year and a half longer than I needed to, and it ended up being like 5 to 6 years total. So let's dive in, guys. I want to give you some of the keys that I've learned to help you get through quicker than I did and more gracefully. Number one, surrender the process. Don't try to escape it. Don't try to resist the process, okay, you guys? You cannot bypass the cross to get to the resurrection. You need to embrace the burial. You need to embrace the darkness. You need to embrace the crushing. You need to embrace the pain and the suffering. This is not a time to fight, fix, or flee, okay? It's a time to lay down your will. Lay down your identity, lay down your attachments, lay down your belief systems, and say, God, undo me. I surrender everything to you. Deconstruct my life. Burn away everything that is not in love. Burn away everything that is not of you. Make me more like Jesus. If you've prayed those prayers, you're going to be going through a dark night of the soul. If you're in the dark night of the soul, reaffirm them, pray them, allow God to do what has been set up, okay? So what helps with this process of surrender? Silence, rest, gentle awareness, cultivating presence, let go of striving, just breathe. Get a practice of literally just sitting, putting your hand on your heart and breathing into your heart. Stillness, cultivate awareness. That will be the number one key to help you get through, okay? So number one, surrender to the process. 2, radical self-compassion. Love the hell out of yourself. Love the parts of yourself that were taught to shame and taught to fear, okay? Every trigger, every shadow and ego pattern that surfaces is an invitation to be loved, not condemned, not resisted, not tried to overcome. You don't need to try to prove and perform yourself anymore. That's why God isolates you, so that you can do this on your own, not trying to prove yourself to other people anymore, not try to perform to be somebody. All of that needs to go, okay? So every shadow, every trigger, every program, every attachment is surfacing and is an invitation for you to begin to bring awareness and love to it. Okay. Say, I love the one in me who is terrified. I bless the voice that is angry. I hold space for this numbness. Confusion, I see you. You're allowed in my body. That's my favorite line. I always say that to all the low vibrational states and emotions and things that come up. Fear, guilt, shame, I see you. You're allowed in my body. Why do I say that? Because when you say I see you to fear, or I see you to a pattern, all of a sudden it makes a separation between you and the pattern. Because if you can see something and you're aware of it, you're no longer embodying it. So the dark night of the soul is all about bringing up all of the junk that's already in you that you are unaware of, that you're embodying, that's a false version of you, so that Christ can see it, because you're one with Christ. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Your awareness is God itself. So if you become aware of these patterns, you begin to see them, love them, and integrate them, okay? And that's really all it takes, is seeing them. So radical self-compassion. Love the parts of you that were taught to be in low vibrational patterns. Your true self is not trying to kill the false self. It's trying to embrace it with wholeness. The ego dissolves not through force, but through unconditional love. The ego doesn't even dissolve fully, guys. Okay, it is integrated and renewed and repatterned into a much more loving, calm, stable, able version of us. Number 3, to traverse the dark night of the soul effectively. Presence over performance. Okay? You're not here to do more or be better or strive more in the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is actually designed to kill all those propensities in us. Okay? You're being stripped of performance. Performance-based identity. Okay? You're being stripped of that so that you can finally realize that I'm already loved, I'm already whole, I'm already in union and oneness with God, even in my darkest hour. Okay, this is the Garden of Gethsemane moment where Jesus is like, your will, not my will, but thy will be done. And he's surrendering to the union and the love of the Father, even before his darkest, most painful time, okay? God is with you. It's choosing presence, cultivating that awareness in the now moment over performance to try to deliver yourself from the bullshit. Okay? Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is cry in the dark and whisper, I don't feel you, but I choose to trust you. Guys, I can't tell you how many hours I spent crying, sloppy crying, removing. Just know that every tear you cry in the dark night of the soul, every breakthrough, every breakdown that you go through, you're releasing energy from your body. You're crying the old patterns out. You're crying the old trauma out. Because you see, our body is 80% water, and water is a very profound holder of frequency. Check out Dr. Emoto, Japanese scientist's work on this. He would speak into water and freeze it. He would say, I love you, I love you, I love you. And the water would turn into a beautiful crystalline structure. He'd say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. He'd freeze it and then he'd pull it out and it would be these grotesque images that looked really terrible, like death in the water that was frozen into ice. Okay, so our water of our body has holding the record of all the junk that we went through. All the emotions, energy and motions are trapped in our body. Okay, and so all of that stuff needs to come to the surface. So be gentle with yourself. Love yourself. Okay, choose to trust the process. Okay, number 4, be gentle with your humanity. Okay, right on. The soul is being purified, but the human, the part of you, your true self, still needs kindness. Okay, take care of your body, nourish yourself, get out in nature, ground your feet into the earth, start sun gazing, start a breath work practice, begin to just really tune into yourself and cultivate that awareness and that presence, okay? The divine is not just found in the fire and glory, it's found in the fatigue and your fragility, your forgottenness, okay? God is all of it, guys. God is with you in all of it. If you get still in nature, that can really help to balance you out, to receive the frequencies of heaven. I stayed inside during the dark night of the soul because I had a spinal cord injury and I just watched TV and I had insomnia and I got all jacked up. If I could have just gotten out onto my grass and laid down in my grass, that nature will heal you. Nature will support you, okay? So be gentle with yourself and nourish yourself in nature, okay? 5, let the old God die so the real one can be revealed. Okay, this is a controversial subject, but if you haven't gone through the dark night of the soul, you're not going to realize that the God that you think that you know is just an interpretation. It's just an idea. So I made a video recently that the church made an idol out of Jesus. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, most people are grieving the loss of God in their life when they go through the dark night of the soul, but you're not actually losing God. You're losing your ego's idea of God so that you can actually begin to come into the deeper knowledge of God, knowing God experientially on the other side of it. Okay, so in the dark night of the soul, God burns away every false image of himself. He removes the I'm going to bless you vending machine God. He removes the performance-based God, the harsh taskmaster God. He removes the angry, distant sky daddy that's going to burn sinners in hell forever and ever. And the true love of God begins to emerge, okay? On the other side of the dark night of the soul, after all of these ideas and idols of God and Jesus that we have that aren't the true image of God, you meet God who is love. Okay, not just the God who offers love. You meet the tangible presence and essence, the name and nature of Christ, which you are one with. Okay, so number 5 is let your idols, let your concepts of God die. That is getting a new wineskin. Jesus said you can't put old wine into a new wineskin, or you can't put new wine into an old wineskin or it'll burst. Okay, this is the dark night of the soul, is the process of you getting a new wineskin so the new wine of God can inform your reality of truth beyond the mind. Okay, number 6, trust that this is all a divine setup. Okay, one of my favorite lines that Spirit spoke through me one day is every perceived setback is actually a divine setup for you to level up, okay? If you're in the dark night of the soul, it's not because you failed, it's because you're chosen. Okay, you're a chosen one. You're part of the 144,000 Christ consciousness company that will have the name and nature of God written on your forehead, who is singing a new song. What's a song? A sound. What's a sound? A vibration. What's a vibration? A frequency. You're called to the ascended Christ consciousness frequency. So you've got to go through the purging of darkness in your body to enter into the heart space of divine embrace, which is Christ consciousness in and through you, void of false identifications of the mind. Okay? You are being counted worthy to go through a sacred death because the Spirit knows you can handle the divine resurrection. You're chosen. You're chosen. You're loved. That's why you're going through this. That's why you've gone through this. The dark night of the soul is not a punishment. It's a purification. Not rejection, but radical intimacy in disguise. Okay? It's just removing the ego and the parts of us that are blocking intimacy that we think that we are. Okay. Number 7, how you get through the dark night of the soul with grace. Know that reconnection will happen. Know that you will connect back with God. Know that your presence and power and glory and everything that you had before you went through the dark night of the soul is only going to be 10 times. It's going to be amplified on the other side. You will be different. The resurrection will happen in your life. The butterfly will emerge from the cocoon. The promises will come forth, but you are going to be completely different. And they're not going to be the way that you thought when the caterpillar thinks a certain way, but until it dissolves and dies in the cocoon and turns into the butterfly comprehends things from a much higher perspective, okay? When the dark night of the soul lifts, you won't go back to who you were. You'll be more spacious, more grounded, more surrendered, more loving, more connected, and less concerning with needing to prove or achieve anything in life. You will be way less performance-based. You'll have embodied the scripture in Hebrews that says, strive to enter rest. The dark night of the soul, we often strive and strive and strive until our wheels fall off and we break down, and God gives us the dark night of the soul, and then we truly find rest through the purification, confusion, suffering, and pain. The dark night of the soul is literally the lake of fire in the book of Revelations, designed to refine you of all of your sin, all of your separation, all of your brokenness. Okay. You will begin to comprehend and know that the dark night of the soul and union with Christ has always been your portion. Okay, guys? So Here's just a recap, okay? How to gracefully get through the dark night of the soul. Surrender to the process. Don't try to resist it or escape it. Bring radical love, self-love and compassion. Love every part of you that is stuck in low vibrational states of being and consciousness. Prioritize presence over performance. Build a breath work and an awareness practice. Learn to meditate, okay? Begin to tune in to nature. Be gentle with your humanity. Be gentle with yourself by getting into nature, by grounding, by drinking good, clean water, trying to eat healthy, by loving yourself deeply, okay? Let the old concept of God, let the old concepts of you, let the old concepts of your life die. Number 5, so that the real God, the real version of you can spring forth. 6, trust that this is all a divine setup for you to level up. Trust that the caterpillar version of you must go through a metamorphosis to change form, to change mold, to come into the multidimensional butterfly that glides on the winds of the spirit with new wings. Okay? Trust that you are evolving into something. Trust that this pain is preparation for your purpose, not punishment. 6, know that reconnection with God will happen, but it will be different. Know that you are going to realize that you are one with God through this dark cloud, through this dark night of the soul. Okay? You've got this, guys. You do not survive the dark night of the soul by fighting the darkness. You transcend it by becoming the light, by loving the unloved places in you, until all that's left is union with the divine nature. Shalom, friends. Take some time to go within your heart, to love yourself through this dark night of the soul. Much love.